We are coming to you from the city beautiful, Chicago, Illinois, where this afternoon, WGN Sports presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Bobby Garcia, Melky Cabrera, and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Joe Maddon's crosstown rival, Chicago Cubs. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson with Steve Stone as we get set to bring you the first of three of this Crosstown Cup. We'll have another three in August, but right now, coming into this ball game, there is a lot of excitement because both clubs are playing well. Now, the Sox lead the all-time series here, 52-46, and 7-7 under Robin Ventura. But both teams coming in are playing good baseball right now.
Well, right now, the Cubs are the leader in the second wild card. And as far as the Sox, they aspire to be just that. So both teams playing red-hot baseball. As you can see in the last 9, the Sox are 7-2. They've scored 4 runs a game, but the ERA jumps out at you at 2.17. The Cubs, on the other hand, 6-3. They've scored almost 4 runs a game, and their ERA just a little bit worse, but still very respectable at 2.39. So both teams pretty much at the top of their game. And the one thing the Sox have to worry about is a couple of hitters in the middle of this lineup. Chris Bryant, the all-star. This is his first year, and he's doing just a tremendous job. He can drive in a whole lot of runs, and he's showing he can do that. And his counterpart, Anthony Rizzo, become a terrific hitter and given the Cubs a left-handed banger that they really need. When you look at the numbers, you realize why they are both all-stars and both have just a sky-high future. Bryant hitting 275, Rizzo at 296. Home runs, they can both hit them. Driving in runs, they're both pretty good at that. But that being said, our pitching's been awfully good.
Well, it took Chris Bryant 2 months to become an all-star. It took me 5 years. But anyway, we've got a guy out in that bump today that can control his own destiny if he throws strikes, and that's Carlos Rodon.
Carlos Rodon, the last time out, didn't have a particularly good outing against Baltimore. He didn't get the ball over the plate as he would have liked, and Jonathan Scope shows him that if you keep the ball down to him, you're probably going to be in trouble, and Scope hit a home run. The biggest problem that day was Carlos couldn't get the ball consistently over the plate. When he did, the Orioles, a pretty good offensive team, took advantage of it. I think Carlos a little frustrated by that performance, but overall this is what it looked like. 5 innings, only 4 hits, that's good. Only 3 earned runs with the big 4 walks and the 7 strikeouts. He's got great stuff, and hopefully today, under the big spotlight here at Wrigley Field, he'll show it to the Cubs.
All right, first of 3. Sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, and the first pitch, Steve, to Adam Eaton is taken for a strike. And once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here over WGN Sports. So happy you could join us for the first of 3. That's off the plate. Adam comes in hitting at .250, 6 homers, 17 knocked in.
You can't be looking for too much from Hendricks fastball-wise, but he has 3 different straight changes, and he gets them all over the plate.
Two balls and a strike. Outfield bunched a bit as the count moves to 2-2.
Dr. Chris Bosio, the pitching coach, about Hendricks, has got a great baseball acumen. He moves the ball around. He has to be pinpoint with his control, and the last couple of times out, he has been. This is the way the Cubs line up on defense. It'll be Denorfia, Fowler, and Soler in the outfield with Bryant, Castro, Russell, and Rizzo in the infield. Taylor Teagarden behind the plate, and Kyle Hendricks on the hill.
And you at home, select your picks to click. And here is Saladino making his major league debut. Tops that one foul. Down to AAA. Tyler was hitting .255, 4 homers, 29 knocked in. He had 7 doubles, 2 triples, and he was 25 for 27 in stolen bases. Young man has got a chance to be a good player one day. He's a smart player.
Well, for as long as he's here, what he does give the Sox is a very fast player, and they could use another speedster in that lineup.
Off the end of the bat. Castro. All right. So with 2 out, let's check out our picks to click this afternoon. And you, our director and crew, Lexi. Steve's going with Carlos Sanchez, and JJ and Jessica Shearer and I. We're going to go with Tyler Saladino. J.J. Shearer and all the great folks at Ditka's. So here's Abreu. Jose at .296, 14 homers, 45 driven in. Woo! Hendricks. Not going to overpower you. But everything moves. Double hit.
He came up last year with a 7-2 record, a .246 ERA. A lot of people at that point were calling him a Greg Maddux type in that he's got a great feel for pitching.
Just got a piece of it.
His changeups, one acts as a cutter, the other will move in almost like a screwball, and one goes straight down. There you look at the last 2 starts. He's been magnificent. Hasn't given up a run, and he's 2-0.
Had him out in front off balance. Castro. So a strikeout, 2 ground outs, and after having any play, it's our guys nothing, and their guys coming to bat.
Cubs for the game this afternoon. Dexter Fowler to lead it off, and Anthony Rizzo in the 2 spot. Chris Bryant hitting third with Jorge Soler as the cleanup hitter. Kristen Orpheus, Darlin Castro, Taylor Teagarden, Kyle Hendricks, and Addison Russell rounded out. The defense and how they'll line up behind Carlos Rodon. It's Melky Cabrera, Adam Eaton, Navaseo Garcia in the outfield with Tyler Saladino, Alexei Ramirez, Carlos Sanchez, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Tyler Flowers behind the plate. And Carlos Rodon on the hill looking for his 4th win of the year. His ERA a touch over 4. This is his 11th start. Last time out. Didn't fare very well against Baltimore because he didn't get the ball over the plate enough. But he's shown enough as a young pitcher to realize that he's going to be awfully good for a long time.
Dexter Fowler, switch hitting center fielder. And the first pitch for Carlos. Taken for a strike.
Fowler's a switch hitter. He's got good speed. He's a much better right-hand hitter than left-hand hitter. Dexter hitting .327 as a righty, just .211 as a lefty. But all of his power comes from the left side.
He gone.
Anthony Rizzo, one of the 2 All-Stars in this Cub lineup, and he just keeps getting better and better.
Now, this is one of the best young teams in all of baseball.
The whole infield is 25 or under.
They have some terrific young talent. They got the shift going. And Rizzo, one of the better 2-strike approaches. See where he holds the bat now. Then if he gets 2 strikes, watch where he holds it. Just looks at that slider.
Rizzo gets right on top of the plate and dares you to come inside. And there's a very small margin for error inside to him because he's gotten a whole lot better at making sure that what was a fairly big hole inside now is pretty much closed up.
Well, for against a left-handed pitcher, especially one with a good breaking ball, I think he's right on the money. That's where he's standing in that box. Three and one. And it's good to be back with Rick Fuse again.
Pretty quick up on
he is
that
the
scoreboard.
fastest ball and strike guy in Major League Baseball. A lot of hitters cannot do what Rizzo does. Being a left-handed hitter, they cannot stand right on top of the plate against a good left-handed pitcher. They just can't do it.
Well, what Rizzo is pretty much telling you by standing there is, throw me inside. Try to get it by me inside.
And if you get 3 breaking balls over, I'll grab some bench. But I don't think he will.
Doesn't happen all that much.
Well, here's a big guy, Chris Bryant, 275, 12 homers, 50 knocked in. I didn't realize he was that big. At times they'll list a guy 6'5", 6'6", and he just doesn't look it when you're standing. This guy looks like he's 6'7". When you stand close to him.
He's also got some filling out to do. He's going to get bigger.
He's just 23 years old. Talking with Derek Hensky before the game, and he said he's just got unbelievable oppo power, opposite field. Okay, take your time, boys, and rack them up. Good pitch, got in on him, and they'll retire the side after 1 no score.
Jeff Vukovich, your local nationwide insurance agent serving the area for 37 years. To join the nation, visit jeffvuk.com because Nationwide is on your side.
Melky Cabrera, Javi Garcia, and Alexi Ramirez as there's first pitch strike. Melky stands in, hitting at .263, 4 homers, 34 knocked in.
The Cubs acquired Kyle Hendricks from Texas in the Ryan Dempster trade back on July 31st of 2012.
He's been hitting the ball a lot. Well, when I say hitting the ball, it's a high strike, and he calls him out. Dan Bellino.
Melky questioning Dan Bellino on that high strike. It has a piece of the zone, but you don't see many high strikes called. As long as Bellino stays there and calls them for both sides, you're not going to find too many complaints.
Here's Avi. And he jams and ate him up. 2 down.
Celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the 2005 World Series Championship with a World Series Anniversary Pack. Choosing 3 games from the World Series Championship Reunion Weekend and the 3 World Series Moments bobblehead giveaway. You'll receive a 4th game in September or October for free. For full details, visit whitesox.com/2005pack.
Here's Alexei. 229, a couple of homers, 26 driven in.
He fouled the ball off his foot, actually missed a game, which is somewhat surprising for him as the foot swelled up. Pretty good idea as Bryant was well back at third base. And Alexei showing that the foot is entirely healthy. Decided to try to lay it down, but popped it up.
Watch out. Ate him up. And he'll make the play. So that is 6 up, 6 down very quick for Kyle Hendricks. There. Chris Denorfia, Starlin Castro. Soler, just 23 years old.
And he's been hitting the ball very well lately, back off the disabled list, 100% healthy. He's got a very short stroke. He looks like he's going to be a good one.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Hitting .266, 4 homers, 20 knocked in. Cubs hitting at .240 as a club. But they have a very nice 3.36 team ERA. Red Sox hitting at .243 as a team with a 3.99 ERA. He gone.
He threw that one down and in, and Soler swung over the top of it. Good location. That's the put away slider. If you haven't seen it, and none of these Cubs have, it's absolutely devastating. And as long as Carlos stays right there, you're not going to have any problem. If you hit that ball, you're going to hit it off your foot or hit it foul.
First pitch strike to Denorfia, hitting at .320. Chris will be 35 in 5 days.
He's been a pretty good player for them after playing with San Diego and Seattle last year.
You know, it seems like, not that he has hurt us that much, but it seems like everywhere he goes, he does a pretty good job.
They got him as a free agent, and he certainly has proven to be a handy man to have around.
There's a strike.
Only problem they've had with Chris is he's been on the disabled list a couple of times, but he's very good wherever you put him, and he usually gives you a quality at bat.
Two and two. And a full count. And it sure is nice to see the schedule makers got this right this time. Weekends against the Cubs. As he walks them. So the second walk. And right now, as you may have heard, maybe not, Steve and I are going to be on Twitter. And you can follow us at Hawk Harrelson or at Steve Stone. We started that yesterday, and hopefully we'll have a lot of fun with it. So here's Castro. Starling hitting at .251, 5 homers, 38 knocked in.
This is a guy who's been able to hit since he's come into the league, and although the average is down, he still is a big part of this offense, and they're hoping that that on-base percentage moves up a bit and he can tighten up the defense. He's made 15 errors. Starlin has also grounded into 12 double plays. That leads the Cubs far and away in that dubious department.
Yeah, but getting back to the scheduling. The last couple of years, we played them on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night in consecutive games.
Yeah, not the best.
Well, baseball is built on great players, great tradition, and great rivalries. And those rivalries have to be protected. And now we have them in August. It'll be August 14th, 15th, and 16th for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in our place. That's how to play right side. So it gives the fans a chance to, prior to this 3-game set, get revved up for it and then have a break. And then in August 14th, 15th, and 16th, get ready for it again.
being a very young pitcher, this will be the problem that Carlos Rodon is going to have, and that is consistently getting the ball over the plate. And being able to change speeds when you get into a fastball count. Throwing something off speed. Chris Sale has learned to do it well, but he's a product of 4 major league seasons. Carlos is in his first.
What's the quickest fastball on the gun you've seen with Rodon this year?
97, maybe he touched 98.
98 was bad. Touched 98. Well, that's the highest I've seen. That's not quick enough to throw by major league hitters when you're sitting. If you're throwing 102, 103.
Get away with some mistakes.
Yes. But with that slider he's got, as we said at the top, he can control his own destiny. If he gets it over and throws strikes, he's going to beat you. If he doesn't,
Dan Bellino has called high strikes, and that's one of the things that Carlos should bear in mind.
Both clubs should recognize that by now. Oh, look at the play. Yes, a beauty by Alexei and Carlos. Mercy. Rack 'em up.
And they turned the second double play in as many innings. This a highlight reel version. Getting Carlos Rodon out of a problem. Great play by Alexei. Back in the lineup with a highlight reel effort. Speed Replay is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports.
Tyler Flowers, Carlos Sanchez, and Rodon here in the top of the third. Well, we're going to show you that play one more time, this time from Carlos Sanchez's perspective.
He gets the flip out of the glove and then has to go underhand because he doesn't think with the runner upon him that he can go over the top. Also, you stop from getting taken out. You take a step back, and that little underhand flip gets the job done.
Well, not many guys can throw that, turn a double play from where they catch him. Most guys would have to come over the top. By that time, it's liable to give that runner a chance to beat it out.
He's been something.
Tyler gone, one out.
You see the underhand flip. Denorfia gets in pretty quickly, and so Carlos can't step forward. He actually has to throw it flat-footed, and he's moving back away from the throw, which makes it even more impressive.
There's only one bad thing about that double play. It's liable to get Starlin Castro amped up and off his stuff. It has a tendency to do that when you're talking about shortstop, second baseman making great plays. The other guy on the other team says, oh, well, okay. There's a little flipper just over the head. So you can cancel the post-game show. That's our first hit.
And the best part about that base hit is it allows Carlos Rodon to bunt him over. It's about time Carlos gets a few of these. He's hit the ball pretty hard, lining out to center fielders and left fielders with regularity from the left side. So nice to see, although he catches it off the end of the bat, he's able to just ease it over the head of Castro.
So Carlos now squaring early. Just looks to second, goes to first, so he'll get the job done. 5-4.
Nice to see Carlos get the bunt down. I'm a bit surprised Bryant didn't go to second base because he had a shot, but usually what happens on a play like that is the catcher, in this case Taylor Teagarden, probably calling first all the way. He looked at second, and when he hesitated, that's when you have to get the out at first.
Yeah, that's where we don't know if he was, in fact, was calling. Here's Adam. He struck out leading off the ball game. Takes ball one.
Joe McEwing probably is going to run on Denorfia and Fowler. Solaire's got a very good arm in right field. That would be a test. Things going pretty well for Adam lately as he started to hit the baseball with regularity.
That home run, that walk-off he hit the other night, that was a blast. I mean, high towering over the bullpen in our place. In the 11th inning. First ball fastball at 97. He just killed it. And that's popped up. Castro makes the catch. We'll go to the bottom of the third. Still no score.
White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Cub half of the third inning. It'll be the lower third of their order. Teagarden, Hendricks, and Russell.
And there's a very good chance with David Ross on the concussion disabled list, he'll be back in a few days, probably after the All-Star break, and then Taylor Teagarden will probably go back to the minor leagues. In the meantime, Teagarden gives him a pretty dependable defensive catcher. And since his days with the Texas Rangers, offense has been somewhat of a problem for him.
First pitch strike to the 31-year-old receiver.
Those are the numbers of AAA this year, and they were pretty good.
And get that one. And we got a tweet here. Actually, we got a ton of tweets already, but here's one. Harry WD. Do the players think of these games differently, such as city pride?
I believe they certainly want to go out and beat the opposition, but I think for both teams, they're in different situations now, and that's how you think of the game. That ball just foul, but what I'm saying is, for the Cubs, who have, at this point at least, the second wild card secured, although it's a tenuous hold, and the White Sox trying to get in and get some momentum. You would think at this point that the Cubs would like to win these, and for the Sox, I think they've pretty much got to win these. So that's probably how they feel.
Harry WD, I think that players, they'll tell you, no, it's just another game, and that to me is a bunch of bull. Every game, really, if you're trying to win, like as Steve alluded to right there, if you're trying to win as the Cubs are and we're trying to get back in contention, every game is not just another game. There's a sense of urgency that comes with it, as there's a sense of urgency in playing Sox and the Cubs. Come on. You dead-gum right. They want to. If you look at it a little differently.
Well, especially this year when you're playing 3-3, so you're playing 6 games. That's only because in interleague play we're playing the National League Central. Next year, when we don't play the Central, it's going to be 2-2.
Well, there's a base hit. Take city pride here in Chicago? Yes. Take city pride in New York? Yes.
LA?
You take city pride in LA? Yes.
Hendricks with just his 3rd hit of the year, and he got a fastball away, and he took it that way. So Addison Russell, who came in the Jeff Samardzija trade from Oakland, steps in.
I don't know about yours, but my line has been lighting up on my drive home yesterday after Samardzija was just absolutely terrific, shutting out Toronto, one of the most dangerous hitting clubs you'll ever see.
That was as good as the big guy has looked in quite some time.
Well, the rumor mill has just absolutely gone crazy.
Well, a whole lot of scouts in attendance saw the best of Jeff Samardzija. I was down on the field talking with Chris Bosio, and Jeff walked up. That was his pitching coach. Here's some of yesterday's action. Jeff had a terrific splitter. He was getting the fastball over the plate. He changed speeds exceptionally well. The slider was back as it has been. And all in all, from first pitch to last pitch, he was in command. That was very impressive.
Well, as we talked about, Toronto is not the best hitting team I've ever seen, but they are maybe as dangerous as any team I've ever seen.
They got power up and down that lineup, and they're not an easy team to face. There you look at the numbers from yesterday. 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He got the job done in 2 hours and 14 minutes. Not exactly Sale and Burley at 154, but pretty close.
Well, that Josh Donaldson is becoming a beast. I mean, he's an animal. one of the best offensive players in the game, and Jeff handled him rather well yesterday. His ball gets away.
It's probably going to be a pass ball, and it is indeed one of those. So I had a chance to talk to one of my favorite guys on the field, and that was Joe Madden, the skipper, before the game today. Tyler just missed it. Hendricks goes to second. Joe was talking about Addison Russell and the fact that he's still very young. He said he has absolutely made the transition from a lifetime shortstop to a second baseman seamlessly. And I got a chance to talk to Addison, and boy, he is a strong young man.
21 years old. Pretty good pitch, didn't get it, so that is the third walk. He walked one in first, one in second, now one here in the third.
It's only the 20th walk of the year for Addison Russell. That's in 237 at bats. Don Cooper keeping an eye on the amount of walks. Now, the first 2 walks were erased by double plays. That's the good part. The bad part, 3 walks to this point.
Yeah, that's only going to last so long. Dexter Fowler takes that slider. Ball 1. Just magnifies everything to a home plate umpire.
Runs at first and second with only 1 out. Cubs hitters have played it at least 39% of the time, right on the league average.
If you're walking a guy in an inning, that umpire's not going to give you anything for it. That's a base hit in the right. No, he caught it. No, he caught it. Lost it on the transfer. Now they're going to throw it away. That's a catch. And he steps on second base, and he out. Another double play. Yes. 3 double plays in 3 innings, and we're still scoreless. But now they're going to have a challenge, possibly.
I would think that Joe Madden would certainly like to review this one. We'll take another look at it. We'll slow it down for you as Avi comes in. Now right there, he's got it. And it looks like it's secured, but you have to take the ball out of your glove with control, and it looked like on the transfer he dropped it.
It definitely was a catch. Now they're going to talk to Madden.
Well, the first part of this was all good. The second part, the throw getting away, that's not so good because nobody was at first base when Avi threw it there. But Tyler does pick up the ball, thinking that he gets the force out at second after the catch. And if it stands, it'll be inning over. But I think they're going to want to call New York and take another look at this.
Tom Hallion, crew chief. So now Robin wants to talk and see what the story is, although he knows it. Maybe they threw something else differently. That's leather underneath that ball.
We've seen some very interesting reviews lately. This is going to be another one of those. This is going to fall into the very interesting ranges.
they will get a ruling from New York. It's liable to be a catch. But yes. Yes. And we'll go to the fourth. Scoreless. Catch. He stayed committed, stayed with it, got the glove underneath it.
And took it right off the grass. And then on the transfer, as he was going to throw it, as you see happens a lot on the double play at second base. That's what happened. That's how they ruled it. And you can walk a guy an inning if you're planning to get a double play each and every inning.
Well, they've done that.
Fortunately, this one stays in play, and Tyler, realizing there's a force out to be had at second base, turns a double play. The unique 9-2-6 double play.
Hendricks was standing on third when he was doubled off at second. So here's Tyler Saladino. Grounded out to short his first trip, making his major league debut in this ball game. Just called up in case you missed it. He was hitting .255, 4 homers, 29 knocked in. He was 25 for 27 stolen bases at Charlotte in the International League.
Kyle Hendricks working on an 18 1/3 scoreless inning streak.
Everything he's throwing is moving.
It is that. When you have 3 different straight changes, you got to be pretty tough.
Astros got to hurry. He's there, makes the play. For 1 out.
Celebrate the holidays in the middle of summer with Christmas in July on Tuesday, July 21st. The ticket package includes a game ticket and an ugly Christmas White Sox t-shirt. Christmas-themed events will take place during the game throughout the ballpark. To purchase, visit whitesox.com/Xmas.
So here's Abreu. He also grounded out to Castro at short. Here's another Twitter from D. Kinsey. Why is Saladino playing over Beckham? Gordon's been struggling offensively. Defensively, he has been absolutely magnificent. But Saladino can steal a base. He was 25 for 27, as we mentioned, down at Charlotte. He's a good player. He had a very impressive spring. He was in the mix for making this ball play in the spring.
I think probably the biggest factor is with Robin expecting a close game in this game, maybe, just maybe, speed would make the difference. Saladino does indeed give you that. And Gordon is ready to come in and do what he does best. Take over at whatever position Robin puts him and give you just an outstanding, world-class defensive performance.
Yeah, that 195 will make Robin think that way. Boy, defensively with the leather, just awesome. That's going foul. Boy, there is a fanny in every seat, including outside the ballpark, on the rooftops. Bryant can't get him. That'll be a base hit.
I think one of the things that people are surprised about Abreu, and there's not many surprises left after the wonderful year last year, but for a big man, he runs very well. Chris Bryant, with a big effort to his left, had to get up quickly and get the ball to first base, and even if it's on the money, you're not going to get him. Good effort, strong arm by Bryant, but he can't get it there in time.
You can't tell that much about Abreu from home to first, but where you can really tell how well he can run is from first to third.
And I think he's one of the smarter base runners around.
He is. He has good baseball acumen. He knows how to play the game. He was well schooled, well taught in Cuba. Melky was called out on a high strike, one that Dan Bellino has been pretty consistent with. Way out in front. That change up at 78. Outfield bunched. And there's a base hit. Just looked over in our dugout and said, "See, I told you." To somebody.
You just have to wait back long enough, because Hendricks is not going to overpower you. This was his best bolt, 88 miles an hour. Maybe he can get it to 89, not much better than that. And even though it's a good pitch, and it was a good pitch, it was out of weight just off the strike zone. Melky went right with it. So a chance to break through here in the top of the fourth.
Here's Avi. He had Avi on the fist. Did a little looper at second base. Hit him on the fist again, pops him up. To Norfield. 2 down.
The wind affects the baseball more at Wrigley Field than probably any other field in baseball, because even though the bleachers are higher than they've been, they're still not high. And today, the wind is somewhat coming off the lake. It's blowing toward the left field corner. It's going to knock down anything to right and right center field. Probably aid the ball down the line in left. But the power alleys here, the 368 and the alleys, both right and left field, that's where the wind is not affected, and line drives easily go out of the park in those two areas.
We're looking possibly at a right-handed Mark Burley out there. And that'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Still no score.
You might be today's White Sox fan of the game. White Sox fan photo of the game is brought to you by Beggar's Pizza, now with 22 locations. Visit beggarspizza.com. Beggar's Pizza, they lay it on thick.
Got the heart of the order coming up. Rizzo, Bryant, Soler. Rizzo walked back in the first inning. We have no runs on 3 hits. They have no runs on 1 hit. That 1 hit by the pitcher, Kyle Hendricks.
When you're only facing one left-hander in the lineup and this is him, it's hard to get a release point, and that's one of the reasons why lefties will occasionally walk lefties as the only one they face. And so far, he hasn't found a release point against Anthony Rizzo.
Well, when he's standing that close to the plate, I'm sure it looks a little funny to Rodon's eyes, seeing a guy standing that close to the plate.
Completely different look. And the thing that Rizzo can do is give you big power to the opposite field. You see where the back foot is? He's right on the line.
And that's the foot that determines how close you are to the plate. It's not the front foot, it's the back foot.
But with that foot there, the hands are just almost over the inside corner, and he's going to test that line. As the game moves along, he's going to try to get as far back as he can with an open stance.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Fourth walk in 4. And this is the 4th inning. 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 to lead off here in the 4th. It's just that's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, this is something that piles up the pitches. However, we talked about the 3 double plays getting Carlos out of the first 3 innings. He'd use another one here.
Chris Bryant hit into a 4-6-3 double play. Takes that pitch just off the corner.
Bryant really hits well in his ballpark, slugging .739 at Wrigley Field over the past 2 months. That's number 1 in the league.
That changeup.
In fact, that actually is number 1 in all of baseball. League average .418. Again, he's at .739. That's what he's done at Wrigley Field this year, and it's been fair to partly awesome for a young kid.
Well, as I said, it took him 2 months to make an all-star team. That's about as quick as you're going to see a position player.
Richly deserved, and one of the wave of very young, talented players to come on the major league scene. And that's what's so exciting about watching baseball every day, as you and I get a chance to do. We've seen so many really good and sometimes great young players this year, especially, seemingly more than ever before. And these guys have a chance to be just exceptional down through the years.
Well, I mentioned it several times. All right, can we do it again? Back him up. No. Close. But this is the best young wave of talent I've ever seen come into the major leagues.
Bryant can run. He is a big man with good speed, and they do the best they can to get it over there. But Alfonso Marquez said he, at the very least, tied the throw.
Here's Soler, struck out, swinging at a fastball. Yeah, baseball is in great shape with all these great young talents coming in. They are fun to watch. I still get a lot of texts and emails, mail from former teammates, former peers. Alexei. So that would be a hit. The Rockies.
And everybody going out to check on Carlos to see if he's okay. This one came back at him, and it was indeed a rocket. Fortunately, it hit the glove and nothing else. And if it's not hit to the glove side, he's got no chance to get it. So he puts the glove up. It's hit so hard that as it trickles to Alexei, no chance to get anybody. But wisely, he takes a look at second base, thinking maybe, just maybe, Chris Bryant is going to round the bag. But Bryant sees the ball in the middle of the infield, and he knows there's no play at first, so he stays right at second.
Well, if that ball hit anything but that glove, he was in trouble as far as it was hit. So here is the Northfield. But I still get a lot of text and everything from former teammates and peers that how can you say these guys are better players than we were? Simply because they are talents. They're better talents than we were. They're getting better and better. Talking with Buck Showalter, skipper of Baltimore when they are in town, and Buck agrees 100%. He said these guys are just absolutely much better than guys from the past. Now, look at our Mantles and Mays and Musers and those guys. Yeah, they could be the stars today, just in any time zone. These guys don't have better teams because they're so young. They make a lot of mistakes. We had better teams as far as knowing how to play. But they are better talents.
These players today are bigger, stronger, faster, and quicker than they've ever been before. Very rarely in years past did you see a guy the size of Chris Bryant. He's 6'5". Come in, he's got tremendous speed. Swiped 8 bases, been caught only twice. You just didn't see big guys with big speed coming in the league like we're seeing today.
Well, the biggest change in baseball in the last 50 years, certainly, I've been in the last 56 years, has been the bullpens. In my time zone, we faced guys coming out of the bullpen who were starters who were going bad for the most part. You may have, as that's fouled away, one, maybe two specialists out there, relievers. But the first man out was always a guy who was started going bad. So you're facing, we didn't have to face 96 and 97 in the 7th inning, and 98 and 99 in the 8th inning, and 98 and 100, 101 in the 9th inning.
He's playing fairly shallow in right field, so on a base hit his way, and then at least have a shot at Bryant.
Yeah, the dominant pitch out of the bullpen on the majority of relievers back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, the dominant pitch was either a spitter or grease. Something that was definitely going to go down.
Today, more times than not, it's some very big heat.
Ooh, I guess. There they go. They'll strike them out. And they'll throw them out. Grab some bench. Another double play. So 4 in 4 innings. And we're into the 5th scoreless.
Arrive early on Saturday, July 18th. See your favorite 2005 World Series championship players parade around the field, presented by your local Ford stores. Together, we'll go further. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/promos.
Here's Tyler. He struck out on a curveball. Takes first pitch strike. Kyle Hendricks. Who is Kyle Hendricks? Man, this guy. I was talking to Joe Madden before the game, some of the Cub players. They said he's crafty.
Chris Bosio said that his pitching acumen is off the charts. He's from Dartmouth, so you know he's got some smarts, got an economics degree. But he moves the ball around and changes speeds as well as anybody. He's got to be perfect with his control, but he usually is. And the last 2 times out, he's been absolutely brilliant.
These are guys that give us fits. You said it a while ago. He's a right-handed left-hander.
Yeah, to me, it's exactly what soft-tossing left-handers do, especially with their changeup. I haven't seen a guy with 3 different distinct changeups.
Broken bat, Castro. These kind of guys break more bats than guys with 100-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Well, you have to look away simply because he throws so many pitches away. And looking away 87, 88 miles an hour breaks your bat because you're not expecting the ball in on your hands.
There's Carlos. He got our first hit. Little soft single in the left field back in the 3rd inning.
There was another high strike, and I'm sure both teams have noticed that that's the strike zone of Dan Bellino today. The hitter's going to have to adjust. The umpire won't.
Flips another one out there, and that's going to fall. Hello. So he'll make a turn, pull it up, get back in the first base. 1 out single. But, you know, getting back to the players today versus the players 30, 40, 50 years ago as you take another of those duck snort. In those days, if you think backwards, you weren't around, but when I first broke in, you didn't have outfielders hitting walls on a regular basis. They pull up. They wouldn't crash in. Today, you got guys going on DL because they're. Aaron Rowan, he was like a wild man out there. It was like he was going to challenge that wall to get that ball.
The wall usually wins.
One of the greatest shots I ever saw when he broke his nose. He ran into that wall. He turned around and blood was just coming down. He could play. I remember had one of the greatest defensive series I've ever seen had in Yankee Stadium. Kenny Lofton maybe had the best I ever saw, and that was in that 4-game series we had in Cleveland, where he won 2 games of that 4-game series, and we were trying to run him down. Going up over and bringing home runs back and making everything that was hitting the gaps caught.
I do know one thing. If Carlos bunts the same as he bunted last time, Bryant is going to get the force out at second because he's charging very aggressively. So if Carlos is going to bunt, he'd rather bunt it to first. Oh, that was a perfect bunt. That pushed him over toward the line, and he looked at second and couldn't make the throw again.
We may have found our designated bunter.
2 at-bats, 2 sacrifices. Very nicely done.
Yeah. That was a much better bunt than the first one.
Yeah, especially with a charging third baseman. This time he really deadens the ball, and the key is keeping the head of the bat up. If you keep the head of the bat up, the ball's going to go down. Drop the head, the ball pops up. Carlos has done it very well twice.
Take him up now, Adam. Too much time.
Outfield playing very shallow all the way around. They obviously didn't see the walk-off home run from Babe Eaton. As you can see, Fowler very shallow in center, as is Denorfian left. Soler may be a touch more shallow than normal.
Well, in Adams' case, for every time they hit one, he hits one over their heads, he's going to hit a lot more in front of them.
There's no doubt about that.
1-1 on another high strike.
This is probably where Adam, who is an experienced hitter, probably doesn't want to look for a walk with Tyler Saladino behind him. Adam Hanna, his first major league game, who's played pepper with Castro twice. Adam wants to drive this one in.
That one a little too high. So 3-1.
Major league debut for the man you're looking at, Tyler Saladino.
Oh boy, nice pitch. Nice pitch. Pulled a string on him. Had him way out in front.
That's how much confidence he has in that changeup.
Movement too.
That came up and hit him in the head. Bounce right up, got him right on the side of the face.
Looks like T-Garden's going to give him a chance to shake it off. Looks like he got him right on the side of the face of the ear.
A chance to get the ringing out of his ears.
Yeah.
Nobody paying any attention at all to Sanchez. You can get a good secondary lead.
Outfield bunched. Got him. We are halfway home and no score. 6-4-3 double play his first trip. That's going to be a souvenir right side. And what a double play it was. John Walgren is going, our producer, going to show it to you in a moment if you missed it. On both parts from Alexei and Sanchez. Change up high and wide.
Castro's biggest year, 207 hits back in 2011. That's when he hit 307. Things have gone downhill a bit since then.
He's still just 25 years old.
Yeah, I mean, he's very young. And take a look at this double play. One of the nicest you'll ever see. Up the middle, Alexei to his left. The shovel with the glove. And a throw to first, and they get him by plenty.
Three and one to count.
Carlos has been looking at that finger occasionally on the mound, which has been giving him some blister difficulties.
There's a strike.
And Bellino called it a strike. Castro threw the bat away, which umpires don't particularly care for. That one just catching the bottom part of the zone. The bottom part of the bottom part of the zone.
That's the lowest strike he's called. And the payoff. Fouls that, and that's going to be a souvenir.
That was actually his throw for a strike slider. The wipeout is down and out of the zone. But that one just slid straight across. He was able to stay alive by fouling it back. But Castro's not going to walk. 14 walks this year and 333 at bats.
He gone.
He decided to take a perfect pitch on the outside corner. This is a fastball, and even though Tyler wants it inside, he gets the whole plate at 94, and it freezes Castro. He'll take a walk.
Four strikeouts now for Carlos. And here is Taylor Teagarden. Popped up. Sanchez.
Carlos wants to get through this one without any walks. He has yet to do that so far. So, although he faced 3 men in the first and 3 men in the second, it took double plays to get out of both innings.
Oh, 2 the count.
That was a called strike, and that ball was a good 4 inches inside off the plate. Carlos will absolutely like it. I don't think Dan can hear me from up here.
That's up high. That's down low. First to 3. We've got a pretty good matchup for you tomorrow afternoon. Chris Sale against John Lester.
Had a long talk with John today. He's very happy to be here. And he says it's unusual for him to be considered one of the old guys. He's 31 years old. He looks around. He says everybody is very young. That's the matchup. Lester getting better, just 4-7, but he's thrown better than that. And Chris Sale has been just overwhelming.
Standing room only here at Wrigley Field. Tyler comes in, makes the hop.
Smooth play at third base, because you got to charge that ball. You can't wait back even though a catcher's running, and on the move he throws a strike to Jose. Smooth effort at third with that one.
Yeah, well, he's said, he's a good player now. He's got a chance to be really a good major league player because he knows the game. Here's Kyle Hendricks. He had their first hit. A little flare into right field. There's that slider.
If he wants to throw another one, he'll get him out.
He didn't bite on that one.
Pitch number 80 on the way, which is not a bad total when you got 4 walks and 4 strikeouts.
He gone. He knew it. First 1, 2, 3 inning, he needed that. And we're still scoreless.
$7.999 right now for your chance to win 6 meals from the Simple 6 menu from Subway. Message and data rates may apply. Subway, eat fresh. It'll be Saladino, Abreu, and Cabrera here in the 6th inning against Kyle Hendricks, who's been very good. Given up 4 hits. He hasn't walked anybody. He's gotten everything over the plate. And Saladino is 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs. To Castro at short. So the outfield very shallow all the way around. And that first one fouled straight back. There you look at the defense on a beautiful afternoon here at Wrigley Field. That misses off the outside corner. So the count evens at 1.
And if you're just tuning in, Tyler making his major league debut. What a thrill for him. Nice place to make your major league debut in the midst of the Crosstown Cup.
Especially because of, number one, an overflow crowd. The electricity that these two teams playing one another always creates.
Just got a piece of it. All right, chopper. Good feed.
On Friday, July 17th, come and see the White Sox take on the Royals at 7:10. All fans are invited to stay for a post-game fireworks show presented by Athletico Physical Therapy. Athletico Physical Therapy, better for everybody. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Here's Jose. He's 1 for 2. And an infield single back in the 4th inning. And that hit him.
Tries to get this one up and in and gets it.
He did.
Way in. Jose is hit for just the 8th time this year, although I say just because it's not hitting me, it's hitting him. He's got the team lead in that department.
Here is Melky, and that's bobbled. Now he steps on, and they got to tag him, and they do for the double play. And that'll retire the side. To the bottom of the 6th, no score.
Taking a leisurely stroll. Beautiful day. Maybe looking for somebody to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but not so far.
Addison Russell, 21-year-old. They got a 21-year-old second baseman. They've got a 23-year-old third baseman. They've got a 25-year-old first baseman. They've got a 25-year-old shortstop.
And Addison Russell is the product of the trade that Billy Beane felt he had to make. You got Jeff Samardzija, Jason Hamill. The cost was Addison Russell, their #1 prospect, and Billy McKinney, who's going to be and is a very good outfielder.
Well, you can certainly understand that trade.
Sure. I mean, Oakland looking to get into the postseason and have a couple of guys
further.
that can take them there.
Yes. That Josh Donaldson trade, I will never understand.
That's a little different than acquiring John Lester, Jeff Samardzija, Jason Hamill for the push to go into the playoffs. But Toronto is ecstatic with the Josh Donaldson deal.
Well, not too many guys in this league that you'd rather have at the plate to win a ball game than Josh Donaldson. Watch out. So that is ball 4. That's the 5th walk coming from the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 6th. That's not good.
Now we walked Rizzo leading off the 4th inning. This is the 2nd time he's walked the leadoff man, but now you got to go to the top of the order. And Dexter Fowler hit the ball very hard last time, only to be robbed by Avi in right field, who turned it into a double play.
We have turned 4 double plays, in case you're just joining us. One in the 1st, 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 1 in the 4th. Nice approach to that pitch. Meanwhile, it's the souvenir right side.
There you look at some pretty impressive numbers, but he keeps looking at his finger, and that's the finger that has the blister. And as you move along and throw more sliders, it becomes more difficult if the blister problems are reoccurring.
Pitchers in the past used to soak it in pickle brine.
You've got a whole lot of things because it's really irritating.
Oh boy.
And it plays havoc with your control because the end of your fingertips, that's the feel that every pitcher has to have. And if anything disrupts it, you're just not going to have the pinpoint control you have to have to be a major league pitcher. And as you can see, skin is starting to wear off. It's not only under the nail, it's in front of the nail. Not the easiest thing in the world to do is control the baseball with a finger that looks like that.
He might be just throwing a couple over first base to give that finger a rest.
It very well be, because Addison Russell has swiped one bag this year, but he's been caught 3 times. Now last Sunday, that's what it looked like. You do everything you can. You put on some new skin. You do a lot of different things to make sure that you get that nice feeling back in that particular fingertip.
Two balls, 2 strikes. I'll tell you, this Rick Fuse, this guy who controls balls and strikes here at Wrigley Field, is the fastest in baseball. I definitely would not want to play cards with him. Good pitch, did not get it. So he had him struck out, and now it's a full count.
I think Carlos a little disappointed by not getting this particular call because it had the whole plate.
That's those are things right there that can turn a ball game around. That could be a game changer right there.
You just might get to strike him out, throw him out here. So far on 2 different pitches, Russell has not been running. Joe Madden, absolutely the perfect man to come into this situation with all of the youth. and they got their guy. He became available, and they got him.
He gone. Gets us a break right there.
Sixth strikeout. So it all evens out because that ball was inside off the plate. And the end result would have been the same. Fowler down on strikes.
So here is Rizzo. Down the plate twice and walked twice. And here comes Alexi. You're talking about Joe Madden. In this game, it's hard to say that anybody is the best. But he's gotten to that plateau. You might tie him, but you're not going to beat him. And he's got a master's and a PhD in chemistry. And I say that baseball chemistry. And today, chemistry is more important than it's ever been. And he is a master at creating chemistry on the ball club.
He has the ability to take all of the pressure off his team.
That's the biggest killer of performance.
That in itself is a wonderful attribute for any manager. Joe's been good at it for a long time, and he also understands what's really not important in the game of baseball. What is important, but more importantly, what's not important.
That ball in the center field. Coming on strong. Now you got a shot at him. No. Good try. Well, we've talked about it before, chemistry and taking pressure off the players. In 2005, we don't win a world championship except for Ozzie. When we had that 15.5 game lead on Cleveland, it shrunk to a game and a half a couple of weeks to go, and Ozzie found the way to take the pressure off the guys. At that point, they didn't have to go to Konerko or Die and say, why can't you drive in a run? They went to Ozzie. They didn't go to the players. They went to Ozzie. He took the pressure off. And as I mentioned, Lou Piniella said it's one of the best moves he's ever seen a manager make. So here's Chris Bryant. You got to find a way. Pressure is a killer. And everything is self-induced. And unless the manager has a way of taking it off and relieving the pressure on the players, they're going to fail.
There's a look at Jake Petrichka, who's loosening in the pen. That's the first time either bullpen has been up today.
Six foot six. Chris Bryant.
A dangerous man at any time. The guy's got power to all fields, but he can take it out to any part of the ballpark. He becomes even more dangerous in a scoreless game.
It looks like they ought to be in the movies instead of in a baseball uniform. When I went down to watching him hit, he got out and came around, started talking. He reminded me of Tom Selleck. When Tom worked out with us. Tom Selleck, by the way, left-handed hitter, and he was strong. He could hit some line drives. And Tom loved baseball. It's 3-1 to count.
Right, a first-round draft pick, the second player chosen overall in the 2013 draft. He just tore up the minor leagues before getting here.
He had 43 home runs last year.
Yes.
So there's the second walk of the inning. You can understand that one a little bit. More so than the leadoff guy, Addison Russell. And here comes Coop.
Well, one of the
Besides that, we've got two of the best pitching coaches in the game in this series here with Cooper and Bosio.
One of the things that Coop is going to ask here is he's going to ask about that finger and how it's affecting him, because even though Carlos at times hasn't had particularly good control, you have to believe that finger is bothering him, because this is inordinately bad control. And
well,
he's talking to him now saying, hey, look, you got enough pitches where this most likely is going to be your last go round. So whatever you've got, let me see it here to Soler.
Well, you've had a bad arm a couple of times. And it's very tough to win a ball game if you can't throw every pitch with conviction.
Well, that's exactly right.
You start trying to guard that finger or guard that shoulder or guard that elbow a little bit, and you're probably going to, if you still want to stay out there and you've got stones enough to do it, you're probably going to get beat.
My dad, who was not a baseball guy, gave me the best advice coming back from a rotator cuff problem. And I was pitching for the White Sox at the time, and he watched me in spring training saying, "What's wrong?" I said, "Nothing." He says, "You're not letting the ball go." I said, "Well," he said, "hey, look, throw the ball as hard as you can, and if your arm falls off, do something else. But you can't pitch like that." And I went on to win 15 games that year. That was the Southside Hitmen, the 77 Sox. But he was right. He gave me the right advice at that time for a non-baseball guy to come up with that. It was something that obviously I didn't forget, and my career took off from there.
Here's a dangerous, dangerous hitter. Jorge Soler struck him out in the second, and an infield single in the fourth.
That infield single almost took the glove right off of Carlos Rodon and took it into center field. He was able to keep it in the infield and able to get a whole lot of glove on it, but just couldn't make the play.
Yeah, that was a bullet.
Well, the few straight changes that Carlos has thrown, it was very effective as he had Soler well out in front of it.
Well, if he can have a little confidence in that changeup, that's a lot easier on that finger than a slider.
Yeah, and that's going to make it for him, as that pitch comes around, will make him much more effective, although he's been very effective here today.
Two on, two out, 1-2 the count.
Well, because this most likely will be the final inning, you don't have to go in the strike zone to get out Soler. He's walked only 16 times in 210 at bats.
Another slider.
I think Tyler would have probably preferred that one down in the dirt.
Caught by Saladino. And that'll retire the side. We go to the seventh. Still no score.
to WGNTV.com and click on the WGN Sports Game Zone banner for the latest stats and information. The Sox Game Zone is powered by Robert Morris, University of Illinois, offering over 55 athletic teams. That's more than any other university in the state. For more information on RMU, visit robertmorris.edu.
No score here in the 7th inning. It'll be Avi Garcia, Alexi Ramirez, and Tyler Flowers face Kyle Hendricks. 25-year-old right-hander.
And Herbie has taken a look at that finger, and as you can see, it doesn't look great. So we'll see if that indeed will be it. Cubs bullpen up and going. Carlos has done a terrific job today. Even though he's walked 6, he's fanned 6, and there's still goose eggs up on the scoreboard on both sides.
Yes, the good stuff. There's a shot caught. That's a hang whoop'em right there for Avi. Addison Russell.
Russell, the lifetime shortstop that's moved to second base to get playing time. And he's doing it very well. I talked with him before the ball game about the transition, and he said, I like to think eventually my backhand will catch up with my forehand, which means going to his right up the middle where he has to backhand the ball. Right now, he says that's the one spot where he's had some problems. He said he adjusted to the double play with the runner coming in back of him instead of straight at him as a shortstop would approach that play.
Here's Alexi. He's 0 for 2. Kyle Hendricks got him both times. Once on a pop-up and the other on a little comeback.
Bring your family to the ballpark for Family Sundays, presented by University of Chicago Medicine Comer Children's Hospital. Tickets start as low as $5 and parking is just $10. White Sox and Comer Children's Hospital teaming up for kids' health. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/Sundays or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Tyler is struck out and grounded out to Castro at short.
Justin Grimm and James Russell. Grimm out of the Rangers organization. A very good over-the-top curveball and a good fastball to go with it.
Back up the middle. And it'll be a base hit.
Would have been a spectacular play, but that's the backhand that Russell was talking about. He's got great range for a second baseman, but when he went up to make the transfer, the ball dropped away, and Tyler has his first hit of the day. This is a long way to go. Third base side of second. Can't come up with it.
So here's Carlos Sanchez, 2 for 2. Gillespie has come out on deck to hit if Sanchez can reach. fooled him on that changeup, had him out front. Checks that one up. Now advantage. Goes to Sanchez.
Now Denorfia is really shallow in left field, and he's swung over toward the line.
Those 2 base hits Carlos has out there. He's still too deep.
That'll convince him.
Another changeup, another strike. 2-2. Time. That's a full count on another changeup.
Big advantage now that Tyler will be going. You hit one in the gap, he can score. You take away the force out at second, and Rizzo's going to play behind Tyler at first base.
Well, if he gets a line drive in right center field, he might be able to touch them all.
Plenty of room there, and plenty of room down the line and right. See, Soler is well off the line. He's right in line with right center field. Chris Bosio calling to make sure that both of his relievers are ready to go if Joe Madden needs one of them.
2 out. There he goes. The ball's hit, caught. And 7th inning stretch. Still no score.
got a new pitcher coming in the ball game. It is Jake Petrichka. He's 2-2. His ERA an even 3 on for the 35th time. Lately, things have gone very well, and that ERA is starting to sink. So Carlos Rodon went 6. No runs on just 2 hits. He walked 6, fanned 6. But he leaves with a whole lot of goose eggs up on that scoreboard.
And here's Chris Conklin hitting for Denorfia. Takes first pitch strike. Chris Conklin hitting at .244, 8 homers, 19 knocked in. And the count very quickly, 0-2.
And when Chris Denorfia has been healthy, this has been a good platoon system for Joe Madden. Coughlin, the left-hand hitting counterpart. Denorfia, the right-hand hitting counterpart in left field.
One of the most famous balancing systems. He wants it up high. And there's a rocket. So the leadoff single.
Well, unfortunately, Jake did not get it up high. That ball was probably around belt high. Conklin came through.
That platoon system that Earl Weaver had in left field for a long time with Lowenstein and Renicky, boy, they did a job.
Woo. That was a good one. That's the 4th pinch hit of the year for Coughlin and Zach Duke, loosening up in the pen.
So here's Castro. 0 for 2, get into a 6-4-3 double play. One of the best double plays you want to see in a while, and a strikeout.
Big lead at first. Coughlin's 7 out of 8 in stolen bases. This Cub team has some uncharacteristic speed. They've been thrown out one time today. That was Chris Bryant. But 57 steals have been caught 21 times.
There you go. Tags him, he got him. Double play. 5th double play we have turned. Yes.
Joe Madden breaks out the hit and run, and fortunately he does. Otherwise, this ball is up the middle. Alexi puts the tag on a sliding Coughlin, and the rest is easy. Nice play by Alexi. And they get Castro by plenty. That's the 2nd double play he's grounded into today.
Offense puts fannies in seats. Defense wins games and championships. Here's Taylor Teagarden. Five double plays. One in the first, one in the second, one in the third, one in the fourth, one in the 7th. Taylor has popped to second, grounded to third. One ball, 2 strikes. Jonathan Herrera on deck. If Teagarden can reach. He did not go. 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He gone. So the 5th double play and the strikeout. We'll go to the 8th. Still scoreless.
Carlos Rondon was terrific, although he had 6 walks, but 6 strikeouts to go along with it. Jose Abreu extends his hit streak to 12 games, and 5 double plays turned by our Sox. Brought to you by the Honda Dream Garage sales event, now at your Honda dealer. So Chris Coughlin stays in the game in left field. And we've got a new pitcher. New pitcher is hard-throwing Hector Rondon. His 3-1 is ERA 198 on for the 39th time. He has saved games, 12 of them to be exact. Opponent's hitting just 206 with 32 strikeouts, 8 walks in 27 innings, and he can get the fastball up there to triple digits.
That Kyle Hendricks was impressive. I didn't see him hit 91 times. We had 5 hits. 2 little duck snorts by Sanchez, 2 infield singles. The only hard hit base hit we had was a single by Melky. Everything he threw was moving.
4 strikeouts, no walks. No walks the key if you're going to give up 5 hits, but they were all singles.
He just dominated our guys.
And he's saying he got hit.
He got hit. Go to first, so the leadoff man aboard, Emilio, all he's done, he is now 16 for 41 in his last 11 games against the Cubs.
I think Joe Madden is looking at that, saying, did he swing at it? And apparently, Dan Bellino says he did not. That one did catch the leg of the pants. He didn't make an attempt to butt at it. He didn't swing at it, so he's aboard. Hit by pitch. That could turn out to be very big.
This goes to show you, all you youngsters out there in high school and college who are aspiring major league pitchers, you don't have to be a hard thrower. But you got to be able to throw a spot his fastball, preferably with some movement, and you got to have a good changeup. And that's exactly what Kyle Hendricks has. A terrific changeup.
That's 3 games in a row that he's been absolutely brilliant. And his scoreless streak now into the mid-20s.
That doesn't surprise me after seeing what we saw today.
Oh, he was very good.
A right-handed Mark Burley. And that's a compliment. Had him over 3, a couple of strikeouts, and a pop up to short. 1st and 30. Adam, let's get something on that board. There he goes. He's safe.
Teagard with a pretty decent throw, but Rondon took a long time to deliver the ball home. And Bonifacio off to the races.
All right, we got a 2-0 count here. He's got a job to do. I don't care how he does it. Bunt. Hit it to the right side, but we got to get him over to third. Fastball at 97.
Talked to Emilio today about his days as a Cub. Wasn't here long. Enjoyed the time he was here. Of course, now he'd like nothing more than to score the winning run in this game.
That'll get the job done. He's got to make a play. He does. That's a beautiful play by Chris Bryant. On a beautiful bunt by Adam Eaton.
That's just the second sacrifice of the year, and Eaton lays down a perfect bunt. And comes an eyelash from beating it out. Chris Bryant, with a very strong arm, knows that the only chance he's got is bare hand throwing the same motion, and throws a strike to Rizzo.
J.B. Shuck to hit for Tyler Saladino. Tyler was 0 for 3, a couple of grounders to short, and 1 to first.
Chris Bosio is taking a long, slow walk to the mound.
I'll tell you what, you take guys like Chris Bosio, Pete Vukovich, guys, Jack McDowell. I don't know if there have ever been guys with bigger swings than those 3. They literally were not afraid to go out there with nothing and beat you. And when they had their good stuff, they were probably going to beat you right then, too.
Pete won the Cy Young Award. He was a good one, but if you can't go out there and win without your best stuff, you're not going to have a real long career.
You're not going to win many games in the major leagues.
Pedro Strop throwing in a pen, and the infield in at all 4 positions. JB 5 for 17 as a pinch hitter.
Well, an analogy with that, with Chicago probably being the greatest golf city in the world. An opportunity and privilege to play a long time. 40 years worth with Arnold Palmer, a long time with Nicklaus, and I asked them both the same question. Different times, of course. And they can't get it. I said, is there a secret? What's the secret to golf? And they both gave me exactly the same answer. Secret to golf, they said, was not going out, hitting it good and putting good and shooting 64 or 65. Secret to golf's going out and hitting it sideways, can't make a 6-footer and still shooting 70. Same way with pitching. Pitch out, nothing on.
Pretty tough to put on the suicide with a left-hand hitter up, only because it's just what you saw. Got the entire right-handed batter's box completely open, and it would mean the left-hander would literally have to throw the bat at the ball. Now, if you want to use a safety squeeze, that's another story.
Chops that one foul. Big opportunity here. And a scenario which we have not been very successful in for the most part this season.
Well, JB by far has been our best pinch hitter. Nobody else is even close.
That's going to get the job done. Here he comes. safe, and it's a 1-0 Sox lead. Good at bat for J.B. Shutt.
Second sacrifice fly of the year for J.B. He drives in his third run as a pinch hitter. He waited to get something up in the zone. Take a look at where this one is. The Xfinity pitch tracks will show you that pitch was the one you could hit in the air with a drawn-in infield.
Well, you saw where his hands were. He didn't turn the head of the bat over.
No, and Coughlin doesn't have a great arm. He makes the best throw he could possibly make, but it's not near in time. Good execution. Sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly. 1-0.
Jose. And that'll do it with the hit by pitch, the stolen base, the beautiful sacrifice bunt by Eaton, the sacrifice fly, and we lead it 1-0.
First 20,000 fans ages 21 and over will receive a 2005 World Series replica ring presented by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner and official beer of our Chicago White Sox. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/promos. Gordon Beckham checks in the game at third base. And Zach Duke comes in the ball game. 3-3 ERA, 3.21 on for the 38th time. Opponents hitting .242, which has been pretty good. He's throwing the ball better lately. And he'll be facing Herrera, Russell, and Fowler if everything stays the same. Herrera, a switch hitter, better hitter from the right side.
And the first pitch takes the bunt, takes the ball. Outfielder bunched, about equidistant, and short. Melky about normal in left. And the count 2-0. There's one.
Adam LaRoche has taken over defensively at first.
It hit him.
And he said it hit him when he was in the batter's box. So although it bounced up and got him, Tyler is saying he's sure it wasn't in front of the box. He'll take another look. Tries to lay down a bunt.
hard to get out of that box before that ball hits you.
That's unless you're taking it with you, in this case, up the first base line. You're going to be in that box when it hits.
You know, if you're a right-handed hitter, it's hard to get out of that box that quick. So 2-2. He gone. Hook.
Zach had Herrera well out in front of this one. Swings over the top of it. Perfect pitch, bottom part of the zone.
Good curve. Here's Russell. He's been to the plate twice, walked twice. Takes first pitch strike. Russell 5 homers, 22 knocked in. Good bite.
Grimm and Mott. Mott, the bearded right-hander, on the left.
Strike.
If the Cubs don't score, it's going to be Grimm. If they score a couple, it's going to be Mott. Although Joe Madden has not appointed a specific closer. David Robertson starting to loosen up. What Robin is thinking about is maybe in excess of a 3-out save. That's 3 walks for Russell. He hasn't had to swing the bat. He's walked every time up.
That'll bring up Dexter Fowler, who is 0 for 3 today. Hit a line drive into right field that Avi came on back in the 3rd inning. With a couple of guys on and 1 out, Avi made a beautiful diving catch and then doubled up Hendricks at second.
As you would expect in a 1-run ball game late, the outfield, a few steps deeper all the way around. Melky very deep in left field.
Oh, what a hitter's ballpark this is. Hardly any foul ground at all. Short porches everywhere. Say short porches because of the low fence.
And the basket.
There's a strike.
Goes in that basket all the way around. It doesn't really leave the park, but it is a home run.
Ball and 2 strikes. Pretty close pitch. Didn't get it. Sale against John Lester tomorrow. That game over Comcast Sportsnet on Sunday. Also on Comcast Sportsnet, Jose Quintana against Jay Garriano. So 2 good pitching matchups.
not sure how that missed him, but it did.
From up here, it looked like it absolutely squared him up.
Now, Fowler didn't move. That was probably the right thing to do, but it didn't hit him.
He did not go. So another full count. Russell did not go. He gone. Hook.
Another break, and I don't think Fowler can believe it. Called out for the third time on strikes. Breaking ball was out of the zone, but Molino said it was good enough.
So here is Rizzo. A couple of walks and a line out to center field. Counted one. Now
he got his fastball. That ball was on the inside part of the plate. Maybe just a touch too far inside for him to get
he
the good
wasn't
part
looking
of the
for a
bat out.
fastball. He was just looking for the ball there. It's normally if he's looking for it, that ball's going to be hit hard. And he goes up on that bat. Chokes up with 2 strikes. It's amazing me what more guys don't do.
This is where you have to watch left and left center field. He goes into protection mode, and he's able to take the ball with power the opposite way.
Curveball.
Rizzo does a nice job of staying alive. That was a pretty good pitch. It was down and out of the zone, but too close to take.
Nothing Sox here in the bottom of the 8th inning. He gone. And we're into the 9th. Fourth drive of the game. That makes it a 12-game hitting streak after he beats it out for Jose Abreu, and that's our fourth drive.
Justin Grimm comes into ball game at 1-2 his ERA, a minuscule 125 on for the 28th time. He's been called on to save one game, was successful. But opponents hitting 190. He's a power pitcher with a very good over-the-top curveball, and they made a good trade with the Texas Rangers. They got Neil Ramirez and Justin Grimm. Both very good arms, very good out of the pen. And there you see it, 1-0. Only 8 hits combined. It's been an errorless game. It's been a well-played defensive game on both sides of the equation.
We have turned 5 double plays if you're just tuning in. Melky can't get it. He's 1 for 3.
There's that curveball we were talking about, and it's devastating.
I'll tell you one thing about Texas. They might have as good a scouting system as anybody in baseball.
Well, they bring a lot of talent.
They bring a ton of talent.
And then they're able to make trades.
They trade them away.
I know.
They got a lot of guys playing on pennant contending teams when they're not a pennant contender.
And with Grimm, they made a terrific trade. They got Mike Olt, C.J. Edwards, player to be named later, which was Neil Ramirez, and Justin Grimm, all for Matt Garza.
That breaking ball fouled away in the upper tank.
So they gave up a starting pitcher and got a whole lot in return. C.J. Edwards, at one time thought to be a candidate for the starting rotation, probably has moved himself now into consideration out of the bullpen.
1 out.
Extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball, but on one night they happen all in one place, and that's Cincinnati. Don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday, July 14th on Fox.
Here's Avi. Avi 0 for 3 last time up with a line shot. But it was timed perfectly by Addison Russell, who skied way up there to get it. And Russell's going to get him again. Two down, and for their guys in the bottom of the 9th, Bryant, Soler, and Coffey. Coughlin came in to hit last inning, but Anorfia and singled in the center field. Here's Alexei. Sharply playing him perfectly is Russell. That'll retire the side. We go to the bottom of the 9th, leading 1-0.
for live or on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. And so, David Robertson comes into this 1-0 game looking for 3 outs. He's 4-2 his ERA, a little above 2.5 on for the 35th time. Successful in 18 of 22 save opportunities, 51 strikeouts, 7 walks, and opponents hitting under 200 against him.
Here's Bryant. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Big fellas grounded into a 4-6-3 double play, hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice, and then walked back in the 6th inning. Outfield, for the most part, straight up and fairly deep. That one just hangs inside on curveball. Beckham back and guarding the line at third. LaRoche way off the line. There's a strike at first. 1-2. Hard high or slow low. Throw one right underneath his hands. There's a slow low.
For a curveball at 83, that's got something on it. But he looked real bad on the first pitch, right in under his hand. Be a nice time to go back there with that cutter that Brian hasn't seen.
He gone.
And there it is.
Hard high, slow low, underneath the hands is always a good option.
Even though Tyler wants it low and away, this ball is up and in, and no chance. Even at 93, it looks 98 up there. And Bryant just overmatched with that particular fastball.
This guy's dangerous, Soler. He's 1 for 3, had an infield single. Last time up hit a rocket. Went to Saladino at third. Can't get it. Strikes.
He looked real bad on those 2 curveballs, well out ahead of him. And again, you got a guy with a huge strike zone in Jorge Soler. That was a really nice stop by Tyler Flowers, even though Soler didn't swing at it. If you're going to call the curveball, you got to expect with 0-2, it's going to be down in the dirt. Turns the glove over, keeps it in front of him. Here's another hook.
He gone. 2 down.
Here's our Mazda replay, and you get a young hitter expanding his strike zone. Once again, we talk about the good stop of Tyler Flowers the pitch before. That time he covered everything up, made sure he kept the ball in front of him, and 2 up, 2 strikeouts, and 1 to go.
Here's Coughlin. Sharp single to center. Leading off the 7th. Beckham now even with the bag off the line at third. Curveball a little bit low. Buckman's got the catbird seat 2-0. Line shot caught by Sanchez, and this ball game is over.
What a defensive effort all day long by the Sox, capped off with just an outstanding play by Carlos Sanchez. 5 double plays turned, and this is the highlight. A line drive rocket by Chris Coughlin. And Carlos with great reflexes to his right. Robertson is absolutely ecstatic, as well you would expect. Save number 19. And what a ball game, and what pitching. So we'll take a break and be back after these messages.